Welcome, everyone, to Enlightened Masculinity. We're talking to the speed dating champions of the Millionaires Club. If you've been following the show, then you know that we've been hosting these private party events in San Jose. Very high class. We got some connections with the venue and the girls. And so guys come every month for the last 4 months. Pyro comes and makes these documentaries, and it's turned into a competition. And so amongst 10 of their peers, these two guys were co-champions. Why? Because they tied. The girls voted. That's how the girls get a champion too, because the guys vote. And so the guys, they tied. So they did another vote where all of the people that had voted for other people, because it was a tie 4-4, and then two other people had voted. So then they did a tiebreaker and it tied again. So what's so interesting is these two IMC warrior fighting monks both come from the same city, Phoenix, and did that long 10-hour pilgrimage to the Beast Gathering and to the Millionaires Club 4.0 and the 10-hour pilgrimage back. And so that was the champions ride, because I was wondering, what if one of them wins and then the other one's with the winner the whole way back? It couldn't have happened better. It's a storybook ending. They both won. And so here they are. And of course, I should pitch the show because the show is doing the best ever. Thanks to TK, Master Apprentice, just posting the fuck out of that show and making it great. And so you want to follow because it's going up, and you'll get all the ins of what's going here on imcbase1.com and what we do here at Base One with AZD. And if you don't know what those acronyms are and what they stand for, you're new to the show, then just know that we are the antidote to feminism and for all of that slave mind-washed monogamy bullshit, but we actually get girls too. So it's interesting phenomenon, when you're macho and in your face like this, but girls are attracted to you at the same time. So it's very interesting. We're going to talk about it. So out of the speed, we got Aaron Luna, Master Myself, Jordan Amari here on Enlightened Masculinity. Seniority comes with Master Myself. So I'm going to hand it to you first, brother. How was the whole trip, if you summarize it before we zoom in on the Millionaires Club? And drive from Phoenix, drive back, and the whole event. It's been a few months since you've been here in person. You've been planning it. We've been talking about it. It's really exciting. It's fresh on your mind, man. Check in with us. What's up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. First of all, thank you again for having me. It's always an honor to step on the stage. And man, the event this weekend was transformational on many different levels. Primarily because there was such a buildup for myself to get back out there to San Jose and whatnot. So it was extremely powerful. The commitment of leaving, going for the entire weekend or what have you, the venture, going out there, the card ride, everything that led up to the moments in which we ended up winning, quote unquote. That was all of it was steps along the process. So it was really cool to see the progression. But overall, the weekend was magical. Was one word to describe it. Because there's a massive amount of different changes, internal changes, but then making a lot of those internal changes during the weekend and getting new results, getting the results of a winner. That is extremely powerful. So that process of getting there.
How's it feel to be a winner?
Man, it feels surreal.
Surprising? Were you surprised that you won?
Yeah. Well, to some extent, I was surprised that that there was two that we tied, me and Aaron Luna, first of all.
Because what it is there were 10. It was 10 guys, 10 girls, and there were only 5 or 4 rotations. So 5 girls. So each guy only saw 5 girls because that's just how it worked out. I don't want to break it down why that happened that way. But basically each girl chose. So that means 4 of the 5 girls that saw you voted you out of 5 guys, but they didn't see the other half of the guys. So you were really the best of 5. Each of you was the best of 5, which is pretty cool. Still, it's still pretty cool. What if you guys had been in the same group of 5?
Yeah.
I wonder. Okay. So so you won and you were somewhat surprised, but not really surprised. All right. And that's great. Do you feel like the weekend really played into your speed dating?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It was, yeah, it was a part of the buildup, you know, for those moments being in, you know, the speed dating event. So it was, you know, going out the night beforehand, and yeah, it was a Saturday night. We didn't get in town until Friday night, actually. So just even the progression from, you know, meeting up at the Airbnb, and you know, a lot of the moments along the way that are hard to measure if you're not there in person. So there was a lot of little micro moments almost, you know, that happened in between. And
Now, was that arriving late? Was that because you left late?
yes, but
And
that
did
was
it
my
take a
fault.
little bit longer than you planned because you took a little bit longer?
Yes, a
Gotcha,
little
gotcha,
bit.
gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
but but it was, you know, well worth the moments that led up. And really, you know, me and Aaron Lund were able to build you know, quite a flow of conversation, you know, on the way up here. We had gone out prior, you know, in Phoenix as well. So a lot of those, you know, small moments, like I said, micro moments had led up to that, you know, quote unquote bigger moment, macro moment. So
Quote unquote, quote unquote. All right. So let's hand it over to Aaron Luna. So the other half of this yin yang combination, I don't know who's the yin and who's the yang, or maybe both or both. However, I don't know. That's an equal way to kind of avoid any responsibility with it. So the Aaron Luna co-champion, man. And this is your second time up here in San Jose, I believe, in person. Also under 21. So couldn't go to the gentleman's club with us the first and second night. And don't tell anybody, but since the party was actually in a where alcohol was served, I mean, he was 21 that night, but he didn't drink any alcohol. I mean, he kept it straight, but you know, that's pretty dope. I don't even care if that gets me in trouble. That's stupid. So Aaron Luna beat out all the, you know, more older, mature men in his pool, you know, with more experience than he. But you know, he also pulled out an imagination game from AZD, or an imagination, you know, visualization or whatever that just like hacks the mind. He just defaulted to that each time, which will work. Anybody who ever learned the cube in pickup, how to do the cube to people, if you don't know what to do, just do that. And if the girl does that, by the end of it, you like or have like Sigmund Freud heard, and you can do stuff. So that's awesome. Aaron Luna, man. Where do we begin, dude? Did you know you were going to win? Were you surprised?
Definitely. You know, I don't know. There was just a lot of like powerful men there. So, you know, I was just there to have fun, you know, do my best, you know, try to apply everything that I've learned for that moment. And yeah, I was surprised. I definitely was surprised. Like,
Wow.
you know, but it was still on the back of my mind, you know. I was telling Master myself this, that because when AZD invited me, he said, "What if Aaron Luna won?" or something like that. And I feel like that "what if" kind of started like this questioning, like in my mind, like almost like, "What if I did win?" You know. So
it's true. AZD showed you a lot of favor through the weekend, inviting you to the sponsors lunch, which is something that happens. You know, if you want to get taken through the Manu's tech, Manu being Arash's main mentor, you could argue, one could argue, who could argue, whatever. But, you know, he's since passed on, but he was his acting coach and, you know, deep in Scientology. So very scientific approach to acting and imagination or whatever. And, you know, so he's been guiding the guys that are doing sponsorship level investment in the parties and in the weekend gatherings and guiding them through the Manu tech. And one of the perks of sponsorship is a lunch where you go with Arash and his girlfriend, first girlfriend, Electra. And so you're there. And so Aaron Luna got invited to come to that. And that's where, you know, the what if, you know, what if Aaron Luna won? You know, what is a little seed to plant, you know, and how receptive we are to that seed. So dope, man. You know, what did you think of the event, like, and all the people that missed it? Like, yeah, I see Master myself nodding. Is that something that goes through your mind? Like, man, there's like 190 other people in Brotherhood. 100 of them live in America, and they missed this.
Yeah, man. It's
tell us about it. Either of you. Back and forth, either of you.
I don't know. It's it's a trip because you don't know, because you weren't there. You know, if you weren't there, like you really just won't have reality on what it is you missed out on, quote unquote. So whatever other experiences, you know, took priority, that's what you'll have reality on, you know. So but being at the event, it was, you know, it was a challenge for my character to sit with 4 or 5 different women, you know, and conversate, and a challenge in a good way, meaning, you know, helping me to mold my character and to fine tune, you know, different parts of the way I communicate with them, and really highlight, you know, my flaws and my strengths, you know, in the process. So it was beautiful to have that experience. But the event in itself, it was like being a part of a movie, really, on many different levels. It was like moving from one scene to another. You know, as I look back in my mind, I see different highlights of different moments. You know, walking through with yourself, young Chris, and beforehand, but then even the little small things. You know, at some point, I you know, ended up spilling a drink or what have you. And that was a moment, you know, that I can look back on. But like I said, it's one of those micro moments that added up to the macro moment, you know, of you know, the winning the contest, and um, even, you know, moments where I was able to, you know, grab the mic, you know, and you know, speak up or what have you. You know, it was it was just small little things that really add up to the bigger picture, and it's hard to measure if you're not there. You know, you don't get the concept of it really at all.
Yeah, and you know, even more than just the event itself and like the structure outline of it, like the questions that are brought to it from AZD, because
Yeah.
the structure of it is like 10 guys and 10 girls, and they rotate, and you ask a question. The question has some build up, so there's some story behind it, and a quick like 2-3 minute story of, and I have the audio recordings of it, and a quick 2-3 minute story of like why I asked this question, and he says it in such an entertaining way and delivers it a few times so that you kind of get it, and then break, you know, go, and then the music plays, and then the guy and the girl, they talk about it however they go. And it's very deep question, deep rooted questions that if you answer them in any kind of logical way at all, like not like nerdy logic, but just like makes sense, like you answer the question, it brings you closer, deep in to, it comes from a deep place in the mind, and from them it comes in a deep place in their mind, and so from a deep place in both your minds, you're connecting, collaborating on this thing that naturally brings you kind of closer, not even in a romantic way necessarily, that's up to you, but in just a spirit to spirit intimate way, because it's like a deep question. And not necessarily like the spiritual questions, it could be sexual questions, but it's just like, man, it's just a really cool thing. So that whole situation, plus the quality of women, quality of the girls, quality of the venue, quality of the brothers that you're with, quality of the attire, and just the whole ambiance of the thing. So it's a quality event throughout. And then the quality of the question, so it's guided, so you're not just showing up to some speed dating event like going by your own wits and not without any training or whatever. It's not only piggybacked on the end of a 3-day training, on the end of a month training, really it was a 5-week training, but it's guided in person with strategy, with someone that can kind of calibrate your stuff. And you know, there's a lot of randomness, a lot of variables, like who's going to answer the question when he offers the mic up, you know, and what do you say when you speak into the mic? Like you have the opportunity to affect the whole event. And so that was really cool. Aaron Luna, man, what did you think of the questions? Did you use the microphone? And what were there moments that you felt like you were exerting any strategy, like to win? Like, was there, and tell us about those moments.
What was the first question again?
Maybe just go with the last one, like the strategy. Were there things that you did exactly that when, maybe not so much when you were doing it, maybe afterwards, or maybe when you were doing it, that you were like, I'm doing this, and this is like your strategy. Like, let us know, did you have a strategy, what you're willing to tell us?
Well, I did have a strategy, I guess, that you could say that I kept doing them with everybody was mentioning, I guess, the present moment, like bringing them all so that they could be there when I'm talking to them and they're not somewhere else in
Interesting.
their world. So like I kept bringing them like to the conversation so that we could actually talk and communicate. And definitely the dream, of course, I ran that one a lot. Because there was times like after the questions.
The dream is
like
like a gambit. It's a gambit that he learned that I don't even remember the details of it, so I'm kind of envious of it, you know. So he's got it, and he ran it a bunch of times, and it worked. Probably a bunch of times. I don't know. It's hard to say which element. It was all put together.
Yeah, most definitely. And there's just so much that happened, you know, so many like.
So why did you have the strategy beforehand to talk about the present moment and bring them to the present moment? Why was that your strategy? Where did that come from?
I think it just like it gets them to like I can't really like explain it.
Is that just
like
something from your experience, your life experience of dating, that talking to girls, like that's a good thing? Is that what you're saying?
It was very new, you know. I was experimenting a lot, so like that's one of them. But so definitely just like communicating to like the individual inside of them, you know.
Yeah. Right on. You know, some high level evolution stuff. Dimensionally shifting into a fifth dimension, fucking Assyrian or whatever. Cool, man. That's dope. Present moment. And if any of the audience, you can raise your hand or type it out if you have questions for the champs. These are the champs. We should have a champion champ off where like Gio comes and like Fernando and Master Myself and Aaron Luna. And I don't know how we do it. Probably some kind of boxing match. It can't be dating. It has to be something else. All right. Yeah, you got something, Master Myself?
Yeah, man. I just want to speak on how, you know, how dope it is, because it's really early on. I can tell in the process of recognizing, you know, champions or what have you, and making this a worldwide, you know, competition. That's what I see it, you know, turning into, what have you. So, it's first of all an honor to be, you know, a champion in that lineage, because once again we got Gio and Fernando, who are, I believe, both won twice, right?
No, Fernando won once.
Oh, okay. So a one-time champ and a double champ. But you know, it's great to be in that lineage thus far. And because like I said, I know it's gonna grow, and you know, I know there's been talks about expanding it into a you know, a TV show or what have you, a reality show. So yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to be a part of. Just want to speak on that.
Right on. Yeah, there's been great documentaries by Master Pyro. It's on the YouTube channel. Changing the YouTube channel name. So right now it's under Behavior Code, but it'll be IMC TV soon enough. As soon as Apprentice Rudy gets the banner up. And excuse me. So there's been like documentaries of these parties, very short, very awesome. And next month will be an actual documentary. It's going to be 5 minutes, so longer, on the sponsors that come and the Manu Tech that they get taken through by AZD and the overall gathering. And so, you know, what the future is beyond that, I don't know. I don't know where the Millionaires Club stands or where other parties stand. You know, it's all about success, and if it's going to be a great success. I think it's a great success. I also think it's highway robbery for the price that it is. And the fact that, you know, people don't jump on it. I get it that it's low months, November, December, January. And, you know, so we'll see if it gets another shot at it. If it doesn't, or where it goes as far as these parties, there, you know, it's up to each person what you're going to take from the gathering and what you're going to grow in your life with this mindset and communication and what you're going to do with it. And, you know, it's very powerful stuff, but, you know, left unused, it's nothing, zero power. It's just like a little bit of entertainment or whatever. So what are you going to do with it? So after this gathering, or, you know, leading up to the next gathering, you know, there's a continuous evolution. Everybody's like always on, okay, this continuous evolution that they're on. And they're like, yeah, I'm just continuously evolving. But there's also like measurements of that. Like, you know, as I look to get my next car, and I'm like, man, you know, okay, car prices went like this, and my credit history like that. And okay, what's my actual budget for monthly this? And I'm making all these measurements of my life. that would go unmeasured unless I was doing that. And so having an actual external goal gives me something to measure against, even if it is a slightly moving target, even if it is a materialistic thing. It's how I handle and respond to the challenges along the way towards that. Even if I change my mind of the target, maybe I get a fucking Prius instead of a Mustang GT convertible, brand new. All right. So that's so leading up to this next gathering, because you guys, I got to talk with AZD if there is going to be another party, because you're the champs, so you get to return. You know what I'm saying? So if there's not another party, like what do these guys get if they get something or whatever? I'll just bring up the conversation like that, because that may also weigh bearing on you guys making that pilgrimage and making that trip. But in either case, like, what do you see? Or, I don't want to get too carried away. I saw MJ had his hand up, so let's just hand the mic over to MJ. Moo the Prophet, MJ the Prophet. What's up, brother? You got a question for the champs?
Yeah. I had a question for Master myself, because, we have quite a history. And I know something about him that I think gave him an edge. This man has been to almost probably every beast camp and every gathering since the beginning. He may have missed like one or something like that. And I was wondering, do you think that that's something that gave you an edge or played any part in the win and taking it?
Right on, brother. Good question. And yes, 100%. I mean, you can't show up and not warrant some kind of results on the other side. Every beast camp is completely different. There was flashes. That's why it was so much like just unpacking. I mean, we kind of started the night before and did debrief after, but there was just so much to go over because there was so many different aspects and pieces to the game. But it was like every single beast camp, there was a different piece. So putting all those puzzle pieces together and seeing the whole picture, was definitely a process, man. But I would definitely 100% attribute it to doing that. There are certain actions that we can take as leaders and just as people in general, really, that will warrant different results. So taking an action that's going to beast camp is something that you'll warrant. On the other side, I think some result, some external manifestation of some sort. So I don't want to be too long on the answer, but yeah, bro, definitely 100%. I definitely had a factor.
Right on. Ricky, I see your hands up. What's up, brother?
Yeah, I got a question.
Boston, I should give a shout out, man. We got like, I'm giving hella terrible accomplishment intros here. I mean, these beasts that are answering the beasts that I got online, I was like, fuck. I mean, Master myself is a master martial artist. Fucking Moo the Prophet is, speaker, world renowned, and hip hop enthusiast coming out with beats. And Ricky from Boston, man, screen printing master. That pretty soon you'll be seeing the Pimpin' Yogi sweaters with the Pimpin' Yogi logo on it, because his stitching is incredible. And he's IMC elite from Boston, Massachusetts. What's up, Rick? What's your question?
Hey, I got a question thank you for the introduction, brother. I got a question for the winners. Was there something you felt like you were doing that you noticed the other guys weren't doing, and that played into you guys winning?
That's a good, I like that grammar of that question. That's a good question. Winners. I'll also say something too, because I was, the eye in the sky.
Are you gonna say something, brother?
I'm gonna go last.
Oh, okay. That had an edge.
Something you observed that like you were doing different from the other guys that you thought maybe contributed to you winning.
I'm gonna be honest, brother. Like I think everybody like had their edge because everybody's their own character. But definitely I had been practicing spellbinding, And so I felt pretty confident with that. And that could have been it, just using words to create like emotions. And now I don't know if the other brothers were doing that, but I know I kept that as a strategy for sure. Like that could have been the edge.
Kept it as a strategy.
Yeah.
As a strategy, I was just, spinning needles through her heart and weaving it to her brain to where I could just like, as a strategy, just with my word pull on her vagina. Just, I don't know if the other brothers were doing that, but I decided to employ vagina thread technique. What the fuck? All right. Okay. All right. That's for myself. Was there something that you noticed that you were doing that give you an edge?
Yes. The biggest difference I could see was, not really see. There was no way to know. I knew what I was doing, and that was just being genuinely interested in every female that was there. I didn't know any of them. I didn't know their history or anything like that. So each one of them was, a individual world. And so I don't know, what everybody else was doing, but I know I was genuinely engaged in that. So I think that caused me to engage from that, baseline, I guess you could say. So that's what I would say. That's what I noticed, bro.
I didn't even understand what you just said, Master Myself.
It's not good. Would you like me to explain it better?
Yeah, in another way, maybe.
Yeah, right on.
Or the same way. Maybe it just went over my head. I don't know.
It's not essentially just noticing that everybody, not everybody, but I noticed myself taking interest in each girl in separately. So created a different world with each one of them by asking them certain questions or what have you. So the questions that we were asked would open up, one world, and then, we'd end up opening up more and more and more. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd say that's Master himself. I don't know if that's how to say your name if I'm referring to you. It's Master Myself. It's an interesting name because when you say it, and you're saying it to yourself, but that's his name.
Sure.
So it's very interesting because that's like an internal measurement that I wasn't observing, but it makes sense. And that's definitely something, an ability to do that. It's an interesting practice or whatever. And it comes as a teacher and to separate individuals in your mind and how you treat them and really taking them as an individual. It's a nice thing to say, and everybody can say it, but doing it, especially in a speed dating format, almost not to be all metaphysical or spiritual, mystical about it, but like almost like clearing your energy or clearing the palate, clearing your mind, not forgetting about the person you just interacted with, but just like approaching the next one anew, this energetic ability. I definitely see how Master himself was doing that. And I was, observing, and I would say for both guys, because there's something very similar about them on other sides of the room. It's just so interesting that they both came from Phoenix, drove up and back together. And, and there was one, they both have very good posture. They both nodded too. I don't know if they knew that, but their spine, they hold up. Doesn't collapse when they were interacting with the girl. It doesn't really collapse in general. They just have strong spines. And that's something I noticed. And they moved from their spine. This is such a weird explanation of what I was noticing, but they moved from their spine. So they moved from their center. They were centered interacting with the girl. There's one guy there that was very animated, had tattoos and whatever, and he had great body gestures or whatever, but he moved from his periphery almost. It moved from like something outside of him was moving him. Some of the other guys were collapsed. There's another guy that had sharper movements and was making more movements with his hands. Again, that's like a periphery movement, like he was in his hands, like he wasn't in his center, moving from his center. So yeah, that's not an easy thing to maybe mimic or even really to convey as an idea that their body language is very centered. They felt centered. Which is very interesting because I'm a little bit defocused as I'm looking at the room of 20 people, 10 guys, 10 girls. And it's just, that's how they stand out to me. It's almost like more solid. Cool. Anything else, everybody? So we're about to wrap it up. I like this picking at their edge. Like what is the edge that they had? You know, how did let's just talk about the gathering in general just a little bit. You know, you took the trip. How was the housing arrangements? You know, just for the future. This is like a recording, so the speed dating. I don't know what next month is going to be like. The future will. Next month is going to be, 2 nights at Rhino. Possibly, AZD is really trying to work into how can we get to Santana Row or get to some restaurant or whatever. But if we roll like 15 or 20 deep, like just like working that out. But definitely 2 nights at Rhino, rolling deep there. I mean, that's just going to be like a practice venue pretty much. It's like going to the fucking boxing gym and it's like smelly and stinky. And it's like, like whatever the sounds that are in the boxing gym and the kind of mustiness and like the sound, people working out and whatever. It's like, that's what you got with the fucking strippers and the strip club and the music, and they're working hard, man. They're sweating. So 2 nights there and infield, bottle table, that sort of stuff. The 3 days of gathering, private moments with the sponsors. Everybody's going to be watching the private moments. But I think a huge, tremendous value of the gathering, which is also a month-long training. So it started tonight. It's very powerful. Many nights there'll be lectures in the evening. They're advanced. And that all comes included with the thing. But I think one of the most powerful things about in person is the camaraderie with the other guys, the conversation. If you do a pilgrimage like that and you have a long drive to and from, it's just like, so, you get to bounce back and forth. So many of these ideas that you maybe never really talk out unless you have like a meeting like the Black Panthers group or whatever your group is that you're talking out these ideas. And even still, it's in a different, man, what an opportunity. And then when you get here and you stay in an Airbnb with the guys or in a hotel room or whatever, almost like forget about privacy. It's almost more fun just to have like the sleepover, and there's so much growth there and, so many plans for the future and whatever. So before I get to Camilo's question and we wrap it up, I'd like to hear about just like the experience, because it's been years since I did that. I've just been living with AZD. So, how was that? The housing and the how that played into the whole experience, of the gathering for you and the learnings and the speed dating and everything.
Yeah, it was for myself. It was extremely integral, or extremely. I don't know if that's the right word, but extremely important, extremely significant to have.
Integral. How you would say that? Yeah, it was integral to it.
Integral, yeah. So it was extremely impactful because we had the opportunity every time that we came back to the Airbnb. We both stayed at the Airbnb. The first night just meeting the brothers, especially because Friday night we didn't get in so late. So meeting the brothers there, and the introductions, the conversations that were held. Well, once again, those are those micro moments that added up later on. So the second night was even more powerful, where Master Pyro was there with us and began to kind of connect the dots. So it was myself, him, MJ the Prophet, and Aaron Luna, and Jaime, creating conversation in the living room. And those kind of conversations are what changed. I remember hearing about when the first time that IMC we went 20 deep or what have you. I wasn't there in San Jose, but I remember hearing about the conversations on the live streams that were taking place behind the scenes. And from Master Pyro, hearing him talk about that, or Mark Hibbs hearing him talk about it, they each were just talking about, man, it was just so magical, transformational, powerful, that conversation and communication really is the way that we have evolved and learned to change and grow. So it's very, very key, very important. It's something that's, once again, I don't think it's measured until you go and take part. So
very cool. Mr. Aaron Luna, brother, Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what I'm asking there with like the whole, like, how was the sleepover? It was great, probably. All the conversations are super dope. Camilo, what's your question, brother?
No, I just gonna say that the gathering was awesome, bro. Was one of an awesome experience. I'm so grateful. And also, yeah, that tell my story. Yesterday, I went like to a date with a girl, and I apply like a lot of things I learned now. And bro, like we we went to a restaurant, and I feel the energy to that I control the conversation every time. Like the imagination, I always was creating the moment. Like, bro, imagine this. Like, imagine if blah blah blah. Like, was so real. And then we went eating. We will go dinner. Then we went to a hotel. We end sleeping in a hotel, bro. Like, I did it. Like for I fuck her. Like, was awesome. Was perfect. I have to
Congratulations, Camilo. That's
let.
awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. I
It's a
have
great,
to.
it's a great story. I was unexpecting. I thought it was going to be a question. And he was like, brother, I right after gathering, I asked this girl out. I take her out. We eat some good food. I take her back to the hotel. I smash. It was great.
Yeah, yeah. That's what's up. That was
Okay.
up. No, thank you, Yogi. And no, the
That
other
was great.
question is
Camilo's
that.
first Beast Camp. So that's a just to give a little context. Camilo from Colombia has been in the States for like almost a year, I think, maybe a little over a year, and knew
Hmm.
Fernando and got tapped into the gathering. The last gathering that's ever going to be priced at $700 was last month. So he got in, and and then he was here in person, and he went out to the strip club one night, and he got his full experience, man. He got everything he could get out of it. So that's super dope. Speaking of
Yeah.
which, if you didn't know, because I sent some emails, but I get spammed. So the next gathering is started. It's opened up tonight. It was the first lecture, and it was like some discount. So it's like 10% off if you sign up before 10 a.m. tomorrow. And if you pay in full, then it's another 10% off. So that's something to consider. If you can do that, you can get 20% off.
Thank you. The other question was like
Mhm.
that yesterday in the gathering in the class, I talked to ACD to I don't know if you remember a friend of ACD that ACD is gonna give me the
Yeah,
number.
yeah. I remember
Uh,
what's up about it.
yeah, if I need a favor that the number, like I just download the Signal app that they told me, and I just want to contact the friend.
For sure, for sure. Just send AZD a message. I'll tell him you're sending him a message. I don't know anything about that stuff. So
Yeah,
I'll
thank you.
said that.
Yeah,
Yeah, good. Awesome. All right. Any imcbase1.com for more info on the gathering. Right on. Master myself. That's a good pitch right there. Tony Kosmiski doing the pitch thing also. So there's the Genius link too, because I think we might be staying with Genius link. Master myself, we got to talk about that. So this is a whole movement with enlightened masculinity. Just to give you a little bit of the strategy, we're growing the show. We keep growing it. We're going to eventually come out with IMC Radio. And whether we rebrand the show or just start a new show, come out with IMC Radio and everybody move over to that, either way, it's going to be fine. It's just going to be on the same app that we're already on. You're just either going to switch shows or keep coming with this show. This show has turned into a hodgepodge of interviews with some quote unquote experts, various experts in different things. And, with the past student of Arash who just kind of fell off and he's super gay now. And now, and then I did a bunch of solo episodes on evolutionary psychology. And then came this kind of run with interviews with IMC monks and kind of alternating episodes with like interviews with monks and then like these solo kind of lecture type whatevers. And those end up performing the best unless we can really grab like some interesting titles, some interesting description, and the content, the speed of the podcast has to be up, the vibe of the information has to be up. It's got to be useful, all those things, educational, entertaining, informative, or whatever. So we're wrapping this one up. This is with interviewing with the champions of the Millionaires Club speed dating in San Jose, California, with the world's foremost relationship expert for men, Arash Bazar, who has like 9 girlfriends right now or something, super fine, all know about each other. you know, and if you don't know about that stuff, then go to imcbase1.com and see what, you know, we're up to. So I'll give some final words to these guys, you know, Master Myself and Aaron Luna. I'll hand it over to you, Aaron Luna, first. You know, what are you looking to create off of this? Or what do you see? What do you see for yourself? This is your first time in Enlightened Masculinity. You know, it's almost like a time capsule sort of thing. You know, you're back in Phoenix. I know growth, more money, you know, save it up, come to Beast Camps, improve yourself, like get your game up and up. It's like, do you have any visions for the future that you care to share with us that maybe we could lend some reality to?
Yeah, brother. I actually wanted to tell you about that. I wanted to start a group, because there's a lot that like I want to talk about sometimes, and I wish like I had a group. So like I wanted to tap in with you. I don't know if there's like anything I had to go through, like a process or something to start like a Telegram or something. Like
Yeah,
start.
if you didn't do the tribal council, then you're not going to be able to do like collaborations with the Rosh, not yet, until he does another tribal.
Okay.
But a Telegram group is, anybody can start a Telegram group. So you start a Telegram group, give it a theme, you know, give it a name, invite some friends, and then tell people to grow it, and then you go live, and you know, however you want to do it. Zoom is you can go live in the Telegram group without using Zoom, and just to have like calls and talk about these philosophies, or however you want to do it, you know, whatever your ideas are. I think there are capabilities with Telegram that I don't utilize, that I don't know about. And what would your group be about? You look like, you remind me of a Sphinx cat, and like you should be on the top of a pyramid or something in Egypt. I don't know if you associate it all with that, but you just like always think about that when I say
That's wow. That's actually crazy, because when he asked one of the questions about the past life, like I actually talked about that,
Yeah.
like about being at the top of a pyramid. So
There you go.
maybe something around that. And
That's
I
cool.
also wanted to tap in. I also wanted to tap in with Damari, because what also might have gave us an edge was like before the whole party, when I was buying the Blazer, me and him were like on another level, like tapping with other people. Like we were talking about some concepts. Like we were like almost like a warm up to everything, you know. And I just want to say that because that really helped me during like the whole party. I felt a lot better, and I'm sure like if we didn't have that conversation, I'm sure like it would have been completely different, like a whole different experience. But, yeah.
I'll bet for sure, you know, being in a talkative state and being kind of warmed up to it, you know, and thinking about it and all prepared for it, you know, all gears turning towards it, like you're tuned in, you know, tapped in for sure. So, you know, brotherhood's real important. I try to get the guys around the world, or even whatever city they're in America, to like, you know, connect to guys that are close to them. It's worth it. And, you know, there's a lot of power in that. So, Master Myself, you got any closing remarks?
Yes, brother. Primarily, man, just I want to stress the importance of, you know, this process, this evolution that we're all tapped into with AZD, and you know, being a part of IMC Nation. Every moment is, you know, think of it as a micro moment that's adding up to a bigger moment, to a bigger effect that's going to take place, you know, down the line or what have you. So I like to use that imagery or sequence of, you know, order of thinking for myself to, you know, plan for the future. So to begin to look at these moments as you know, a legendary moment in time, because that's what it is, right? You know, we'll be able to look back and say, you know what, I remember when Aaron Luna and Master Myself, JD, you know, tapped in from Phoenix, came out and, you know, did what they had to do, and it came back. And you know, looking forward to recreating that as much as possible. So definitely, you know, it's extremely important, man. Whatever you got to do to get out to San Jose, that's where the change is going to happen. It's something that I knew from the jump, from the beginning, but it's another thing to experience it, you know. So just want to highlight that, and thank you for the opportunity once again to tap in.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was a great show. And look, we got to the viewer count I was suggesting at the beginning of the show. So I'm sure this is going to be a great episode. Appreciate everybody showing up live. It's a huge audience. And, you know, that's great. IMC is a great movement. that, you know, is going to leave its thumbprint on the world. You know, that's so how much you want to be a part of it and grow with it is, you know, it's up to you to make those dreams come true. So I'll see you on the next show. Everybody, peace out. Pip and Yogi out. Namaste.